Be sure to check out All Things Transformers with Steve, Megatron, and TFG1 Mike.
You're listening to All Things Transformers, version 2.0.
The historical archivist, Orion Pax.
You mean in his mind?
Are you telling me Prime thinks he's some kind of librarian and a Decepticon?
Hello and welcome to All Things Transformers version 2.0, episode 20. I'm your host, Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me as always is...
TFG1 Mike, hello.
Good day. What be up?
Oh, nothing. Just watching new episodes of Prime and dealing with the worst customer service on the face of this planet.
Matty Collector, so...
Lies after lies after lies.
Listen to Team Bottomless Variety Hour episode 11 for information.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be another Toycast rant, too, I guarantee it, because holy shit. I'm not going to get into it here, because this is not a giant loincloth podcast, because that's all the Masters figures really are, is men in giant loincloths. But as much as I love the products, that company has their contracted out third-party customer service is the worst customer service in the fucking world. So other than that, sending out interview requests and review copy requests for stuff and all that happy stuff and just stuff, I guess. I don't know. It's tonight's an off night for me.
Well, yeah.
Between having a headache and just like, I was in the middle of, writing up a bunch of emails and sending emails out this afternoon for, as I just said, interview requests and everything else like that. And I get this email from Matty Collector, and that just kind of like put a whole damper to my night. And I was like, okay, well, I'm done with the computer for a little while. I went to go watch The Voice blind auditions, and Alcatraz was not on tonight. It was scheduled to be on, but the fucking Daytona 500 preempted the shit.
Well, it's almost like last night, too. Once Upon a Time would normally be on, but they had the Oscars, which was, of course, a complete clusterfuck based on the fact that every movie that generally wins are ones that normal people don't like. Meaning, some of them, yes, people do like, but 90% of what gets chose is crap that the critics say, yay!
Yeah, I watched the Oscars here and there just because it was Billy Crystal, and I hadn't seen Billy on TV and movies in a while. And I only watched like the first half hour of the thing, and then I switched over, or actually the first hour, I switched over to, this is kind of sad. I would actually rather watch the E! True Hollywood Story of Lindsay Lohan than the friggin' Oscars. And then, of course, Celebrity Apprentice came on, and then Comic Book Men came on. But no, the Oscars, it was like, a buddy of mine on Twitter, Jack Fetch, he said, if they just focused on the main categories that everyone knows, that show could be done within an hour. But they have to focus on sound design. They have to focus on this. They have to focus on that. They have to focus on this. And it's like all these like Hugo. I've never heard of the only Hugo that I know is Hugo Weaving, the artist. I don't know what the hell that is. I mean, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I know of it. I've heard of it. It's been promoted. I've seen the trailers and all that stuff. But it was like, God.
Yeah.
And then what did Transformers lose to? I mean, I know we're not talking movie news, but Transformers Dark of the Moon lost to something. I forget what it was, though.
Well, honestly, I don't watch any of those because, in my opinion, it's all blasphemous bullshit anyway.
It's basically just rich people patting themselves on the back.
Hey, I'm super. Look at me. I mean, that's all it is. I don't watch it because I see it as a complete and utter waste of time. And I don't have room for that crap. I mean, honestly, who really gives a rip of everything that's winning, losing, whatever on that? Because it's all bullshit to basically say, yeah, the critics were right, even though nobody likes the shit that they pick.
Yeah.
Not to turn this into a headshot, but...
Right. Well, the last thing I'll say on it is the best awards show as far as the Oscars and the Academy Awards go. Oscars, Academy Awards, the same damn thing. The best Academy Awards show I ever witnessed was in Naked Gun 1. With Raquel Welch falling down the stairs and Phil Donahue having his identity stolen.
Yeah.
So, Transformers, that's what we're here for.
Yes.
Robots.
Yes. Anyways, this week, I got, well, actually, at the end of last week, I got my Transformers Prime Season 1 Blu-ray, which rocks. Anybody that doesn't have Transformers Prime and has a Blu-ray player should get the Blu-ray version. If you don't, at least get the DVD copy, but it rocks. Yeah. I also picked up this weekend G.I. Joe Series 2 Season 1. Cool. So I was watching a little bit of that, and that does get better with time. I do like it, so nevertheless, although I don't like the Dragonfire, how the intro is, because it's the International G.I. Joe intro instead of the standard.
Maybe that's all. You know what?
But it might be their transition thing.
Yeah. Well, I've come to realize, and this is not a slight against Shout Factory or Brian Ward or any of those fine people that work on these DVD sets. If there's only certain things they can get that allows the set to be produced and published and put out there for people to buy, and it's like one little thing that's different, I don't mind that. Because at least you're getting the cartoon on DVD versus not having it on DVD.
No, I agree. I'd rather have it than not have it, and yeah. I do like how the DVD is, and I'll probably review it at some point in the future.
Cool.
But yeah, and I'm also trying out for a fan dub version of a Lost Transformers Energon episode, which I think it has something to do with. Let me pull up the page. It has something to do with Scorponok. I believe. It's what's the name of the episode? Scorponok Scars. It's a lost episode that they just for whatever reason didn't air.
So it's basically Energon's version of Dark Glass.
Essentially, but it actually did have animation.
Yes.
So it was just, it never aired here.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, like, when I say that it's Energon's version of Dark Glass, I mean, as far as it not airing, of course, Dark Glass is on a whole other level with the fact that
it never had animation.
They were not going to make it because
of
its tones, yeah.
Although it would have helped explain things, but nevertheless. But yeah, so in any case, I'm trying out for Megatron, hoping that I get it, because I know how the politics work over there.
Yeah.
So I may or may not get it. It just depends. I did get 3 shots at it. So in any case, I'm hoping I get that. And then, of course, Dark Glass is pumping along. I've seen some of the nice behind-the-scenes stuff being a executive producer on it. So that should be very, very awesome when that gets going in full swing. So anything else?
I think that's pretty much it for what we've been up to.
So we'll be right back after this commercial break with the Transformers news that actually is worth mentioning.
I cannot believe Ratchet capable of such horrors.
Yes, and to think the Doctor of Doom's mad quest for power continues. His marauders pursued us to this planet's orbit. We feel its species are not ready to behold us. But we have resolved to protect this world from the same tragedy which was dealt to our own.
One question, Megatron. Why are we called Decepticons?
Another craven Autobot scare tactic. The name was meant to demonize us. Instead, we wear it as a badge of honor. For if speaking the truth is deception, then we are gladly guilty.
And we're back with All Things Transformers with the awesomeness that is Beast Wars.
Yes.
Beast Wars, the unpublished, by Simon Furman. He updated his blog recently regarding the Beast Wars comics. In this particular blog entry, Simon discusses his involvement with Dreamwave's canceled Beast Wars comic and how he had plans to bring the main Beast Wars cast from the show back to Earth, and how he had to tie it into James McDonough's summer special story. That would have been interesting to see how he would have drawn him back to Earth without Beast Machines taking place.
Yeah.
I would have been interested to see that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, he's, of course, parading around different Transformers gatherings and selling the original printed script, of course, of the Beast Wars issue 1 Dreamwave.
Yeah.
So I honestly would love to get my hands on that, but I have a feeling it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
So
this would basically be the Beast characters returning to Earth after being on Cybertron and Beast Machines?
It would be... I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure it would be like as if they something happened and they didn't get to go back or something.
Okay.
So basically, it would almost be kind of like a season 4 in a sense.
Okay.
So I would have loved to have seen what he was going to do with it, just for the fact that while I do love IDW's version of the Beast Wars thing, I felt that there was more they could have done than bring back the Unicron, Shakarak, BotCon crap from years back, which you're probably not familiar with.
No, not at all.
Yes, I'm familiar with it, but that's just because I follow anything Beast Wars related. But yeah, I wish that they would have gotten to produce this. I had it pre-ordered at the time, I remember, and then I was sad when it got canceled. But anyways, going to jump into the 15 things to know about Transformers Fall of Cybertron. GamesRadar.com is updated with a very cool article titled The 15 Things You Need to Know About Cybertron. Of course. One of the coolest things that they revealed is that Greg Berger will be voicing Grimlock.
Sweet.
Which, that's definitely cool.
Yes.
Who better than the original? So here are the 15 top things that they list. The plot begins immediately after War for Cybertron. It has one campaign with different characters instead of the 2 campaigns.
Right.
At least one Transformers has more than 2 forms.
Cool.
Triple changer. Maybe.
6 changer.
Yes. 6 shot. That would be badass. Every Transformer has a unique ability.
Awesome.
That would be cool, unlike the last one. Like Jazz has a grappling hook, or Optimus Prime's control of the massive Metroplex, or the Combaticon's ability to turn into Bruticus. Grimlock is in the game, and he can transform into a fire-breathing robotic T-Rex. Hell yes.
My only question is about Grimlock, and I know that we'll find this out eventually, is will he be a playable character in the campaign?
I believe so.
Or is he going to be one of those store-exclusive online multiplayer characters? I would hate if they did that to Grimlock, made him a store online multiplayer only character. That would suck.
Yes, it would. You can also buy and upgrade gear. Cybertron is no longer flat. Nolan North voices an archaeologist, which whoop-de-freaking do. There's more ammo this time. There's no campaign co-op, which, I could care less. I played by myself anyway.
Yeah.
Character creation is insane, meaning you can create your own Transformer, which that has me extremely geeked.
I mean, character creation, at least for, I think it was more so for the multiplayer and war for Cybertron, the character creation in that was awesome as well, so it doesn't surprise me. I'm wondering, though, is the character creation for this just going to be for multiplayer, or is it also going to be for the campaign as well?
I believe it's going to be just overall.
Okay.
They don't state one way or the other, but I'm hoping it's overall.
Yeah.
Would you care to take the next piece?
Was that the 15 things?
Yes.
That's all of them?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm lost over here. So there was an interview done by, the interview with Steve Blum. 411mania.com has updated their website with an interview with the voice of Transformers Prime Starscream and Rescue Bots Heatwave, voice actor Steve Blum. It's more so that we're going to have this in the show notes for people to go over and read it. It's not an audio interview that we could just drop in. It's basically a written interview or a transcribed interview. One of the things that, one of the questions is that when you got the role to play Starscream in Transformers Prime, was there a certain way you wanted Starscream to sound or a specific vocal quality or characteristic for him to have? And Steve Blum replies, like any character I approach, I start with the first voice that comes to me. Rely heavily on instinct, and through the years has served me well. With Starscream, I knew the sound of the character's previous incarnations, i.e. Chris Latta, Tom Kenny, Charlie Adler, etc., and wanted to give it my own take. The character design is different in Prime, hence the deeper snark and violence, but when I can, I pay a bit of vocal homage to my predecessors, out of respect for them and for the fans. Fortunately, it seems to have worked out. So that's just one of the questions and answers that people can look forward to in reading this interview over at PredaconEmpire.com from 411mania.com. So there's that. And then, let's see, we'll save that for last. And then the other bit of Transformers Prime news was Zap To It has updated with the next episode title for Transformers Prime Season 2. Following on from Operation Bumblebee Part 1, we have Operation Bumblebee Part 2. Shockingly, obviously, the titles aside, there are some juicy hints at what is coming in the episode description, revealing a couple of things that fans were speculating might happen are indeed coming to pass. Revealed, okay, let's see. Bumblebee discovers that Mech and Starscream are responsible for his troubles. Ratchet confronts demons from his Cybertronian past. Now, you and I had a bit of a discussion off air. You had mentioned that you're not that thrilled with them doing multi-parters right off the bat.
Yes.
I kind of disagree with that because the way I look at it is, it's not only is it good for the story that they're telling, that, take from One Shall Fall and then the One Shall Rise 3-parter to now Season 2. They're telling an overall arcing story, and it, as far as a marketing campaign goes, it's advertisement to entice people to come back next week to watch the next episode because they leave you on such a cliffhanger. And the story is so good that it just makes sense to do that. I mean, I would much rather have multi-parters. Obviously, Orion Pax parts 1 through 3 are focusing on Optimus and Orion and his Orion Pax, alternate personality or his previous personality, and Operation Bumblebee will focus on Bumblebee. I like how they're focusing on each character. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. I mean, hey, a former Beast Machines writer might come on and write some episodes, but you never know.
And also some former, like for instance, David Kaye will be voicing characters this season.
Right, that has already been said before. It was said at BotCon last year that David was on. And see, the thing with Prime is they've already pretty much are set for season 2. I think they've got season 2 in the bag. I think I heard a rumor somewhere that they're starting on season 3 already, starting work on season 3.
I read that somewhere.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's kind of awesome, and I would much rather have these multi-part stories delving into a character versus The Girl Who Loved Powerglide, Carnage and C Mine, just 5 episodes of just one-shots or just, one-off throwaway episodes. I much prefer the tight, fluid storylines that they're doing with Prime.
I think more so my problem, I don't think it has anything really to do with the fact that they're doing the 3-parters and 2-parters. I think it's, to me, the fact that they're doing them so close together already.
Yeah, that could be it.
If they would have put like at least 1 episode or 2 episodes in between the Orion Pax 3-parter and the Bumblebee 2-parter, I think I'd be fine with it. But I think it's because it's 1 3-parter, then a 2-parter, and then they're probably going to do a bunch of throwaway one-shots after that. And I think that they should have, not anything that's going to take away from the 3-parters and 2-parters, but I think they should have something in between that kind of breaks it up a little bit.
Yeah, I can kind of see that.
I think that's really my only complaint. I don't disagree with your statement about that it does draw more people in, because it does.
Oh, yeah, it so does.
Jumping into some convention stuff.
Yes.
BotCon 2012 will feature David Kaye and Gary Chalk. Because on Facebook, on a post to Gary Chalk from David Kaye himself, he says, "See you in Dallas in April."
Yep.
So that...
very awesome.
Yes, that is very awesome. It sucks I can't go, but yes, it's very awesome, because unless gas prices skyrocket to the point... Because I am set to go to TFCon this year, so long as gas does not prevent it.
Yeah.
Because gas, it's already jumping, and if it does, I won't be going, just because I won't be able to go on a regular vacation with my wife, so I'm sure as hell not going on a Transformers convention. So, but yeah. This is definitely cool shit, though, for BotCon.
Yeah.
And finally, the last bit of news is the Transformers Hall of Fame 2012 edition. TFW has, as much as I don't like referencing them, they have a vote for the final 5 that they're going to submit to Hasbro. I don't know why it became the definitive version of voting. I think they should have done this on Facebook, but nevertheless, it is bullshit. Anyways, the final voting is between RC from Transformers Prime, Bulkhead from Transformers Animated, and Transformers Prime, which I don't really see how that...
I don't get that. It's not no.
That's like saying Megatron and Megatron, or RC and RC. Granted, they have similar designs, but they're completely different. One's a goofball, and one's a badass.
Yeah.
Beast Wars Megatron, the original version is what they show, but whatever. Minerva, the first female Autobot to have a mass market toy release, which... Prowl, Rat Trap, Rodimus Prime, Skybite from Rid, Swindle from TF Animated, and finally G1 Wheeljack.
Cool. Now, I do have to kind of correct you a little bit here. Minerva is the first female Autobot to have a mass market toy release. And major character. I didn't read the rest of it. Major from fan favorite Transform. See, I don't see how that... I don't know. They never made G1RC, so maybe Minerva is the first.
It's the first female Transformer.
Autobot. Well, yeah, but there was. Wait, didn't. Oh, Master Force was before Beast Wars, wasn't it?
Technically, yes.
I was trying to go for a Black Arachnia angle there, but.
Well, there's G1, then there's Headmasters,
yeah.
Then there's Master Force, then there's Victory, and then there's Zone, and then there's Beast Wars.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of in the middle. But anyways, so far, according to their poll, I just checked it before we started recording, Beast Wars Megatron is in the lead for number 1. Thank God.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, it doesn't. Number 2 is TF Animated Swindle.
That doesn't surprise me either, considering it's Fred Willard.
Number 3 is Wheeljack.
That's a bit surprising.
I'd have to say so.
I mean, as much as I like G1 Wheeljack, that's a bit surprising.
Number 4 is Transformers Prime RC. And finally, number 5, not by much, it's Minerva.
Yeah, I knew Rodimus was going to get the shaft as usual.
He's only 7 votes difference from Minerva. It could come back. So, and then there's Prowl, which has, the next one down. But
yeah,
it's anybody's game at this point until the 29th, which is when they close off the top 5. So if you have a TFW account, go vote and choose wisely.
He chose poorly. Yeah, no, flashing to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes. But anyways, that pretty much concludes the news, and before we take our Transformers Prime commercial break, we're going to jump into the rebuttal voicemail that we got from our friend Vacuumentator.
The shittiest Starscream on the face of the Cybertron.
I won't be that mean, but he sounds more like Pterosaur, to be honest. So he's been dubbed Screamosaur from this day forward. Or Screamusaur, whichever. But anyways, he apologizes to Beast Wars Megatron, which, I'll play that after this, before we go to commercial. But, or actually after. But anyways, he says that. He says, I am Starscream, I've got a microphone issue. No, it's a Starscream issue.
Yes, it is. So we'll do that after this.
Well, hello once again, All Things Transformers crew. This is Starscream, calling with a few rebuttals from what you had to say about my voicemail on the last episode, as well as some reactions to some stuff you talked about on the past episode. First off, I would like to address the fact that you said my voice doesn't sound anything like it should. Well, I will have you know I have a very shitty microphone. Get off my back. There hasn't been any residuals from G1 coming from the hub, so I'm dead broke, damn it. And I would like to apologize for asking a question about Transformers Prime Megatron to Beast Wars Megatron. I honestly thought they were all paid by the same person. Unfortunately, it is not the case with us Starscreams, although many other members of the original G1 cast have carried on their roles throughout all the shows. And also, I would like to say that Transformers Prime is my personal favorite incarnation of the cartoon. I agree with everything you have to say on it, Mike. It is my personal favorite Transformers cartoon of all time. Although I do know you over there at the GCRN do enjoy Beast Wars quite a bit. I've just always been indifferent towards that series. Well, thanks for listening to my voicemail, and I can't wait to hear the next show. Keep up the great work. Until next time.
Maybe they'll ship us out to some island or fire us into space. Wouldn't that be a welcome relief?
I don't blame Fowler. Optimus would have evacuated all humans from the area before engaging the cons.
We don't actually know what Optimus would have done because he's not here!
You're pretty good at stating the obvious, Bulk. Anything else you'd like to mention that we already know?
Nothing I can say in front of the children.
Hey, aren't we overlooking one positive? Nobody's talking about what the cons just got their claws on.
Yes, we managed to allow them to finally acquire a power source for their space bridge.
And how exactly would that be a positive?
We let them finish building their space bridge.
Why? So they can bring more zombies back from Cybertron?
No. So we can commandeer it. And use it to send me to Cybertron.
All Things Transformers will be back after these messages.
Is this thing on? Oh, goody. Why, hello there. It's your dear old Uncle Joker here. I bet you're asking yourself, what could I be possibly doing here of all places? Well, I'm laughing at the fact that this new podcast presented by Geekcast Radio is called Legends of the Dark Knight. Who the heck knew the Bat was so popular? Ugh. Join Steve, Mike, and sometimes Tara for reviews on the greatest DC animated universe cartoon to ever meet Gotham City. So join moi for the talk of the town, or I'll send Captain Clown after you. He gets mighty angry when he doesn't get to have his garbage skull. So put on a nice big smile and join us for the next Geekcast Radio Network podcast, Legends of the Dark Knight.
Grab your helmets because it's time to assemble Mask. Coming April 10th, 2012, the Geekcast Radio Network launches Masked Mayhem with your hosts Optimus Solo and TFG and Mike. This podcast, covering all 75 episodes of Mask, will feature in-depth analysis of every episode, talk on the toys, and more. Masked Mayhem will run 30 podcast episodes. You can find us in iTunes and on www.geekcastradio.com. Get your spectrums ready, as podcasting is the ultimate weapon.
Do you like retro shows? Did you grow up in either the 80s or the 90s? Then tune into Telecast, GeekCastRadio.com's newest podcast. Join us here on the Telecast as we revisit some of your favorite shows, such as Clarissa Explains It All, Salute Your Shorts, Saved by the Bell, and much, much more, only on GeekCastRadio.com.
Hey, Chuck. Hey, what's up, Ryan? You know how we talked about doing a podcast? Well, I have some ideas run past you.
Yeah, what do you got?
I thought we should base it on comics.
Well, there's thousands of podcasts about comics. You kind of want to narrow it down a bit.
Well, what about Star Wars?
Still, there's a ton of those out there. What else you got?
We could always do G.I. Joe comics.
There's still a ton of those out there.
What about the 80s franchises?
There's already a few of those as well.
Then let's forget about comics. Let's focus on toys and action figures.
Dude, then we're back to thousands of podcasts.
Well, is anyone covering all those things I mentioned in one podcast?
No one would be crazy enough to do that.
Then that's what we'll do.
You serious?
Yep. Come and listen to Star Joe's podcast. You can find us at starjoes.com or find us on iTunes.
Yeah, we cover comics, TV shows, and movies based on Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and all your 80s favorite franchises.
And don't forget about the toys.
How could we forget about the toys? We also do toy reviews to help you decide what to add to your collection.
So come listen to Star Joe's, where we hold nothing back, provide quality entertainment, and remember, the Force will be with you.
Because knowing us is half the battle.
Yo, Joe! You are listening to All Things Transformers. Maximals, maximize!
Is it wise to allow an Autobot, current or former, full run of the premises?
Nothing happens aboard this ship without my knowledge. You would do well to remember that, Arachnid. But there's no need for concern. Orion does not possess the same fight Optimus is so renowned for.
Then what use is he to our cause?
Rest assured, Orion Pax will indeed earn his stripes.
Welcome back to the winning team.
Welcome back with the Transformers Prime clip. We are now going to discuss the latest 2 Transformers Prime episodes, Orion Pax Part 1 and Part 2.
Yes. Season 2 opened up with a bang because the Autobots are back at base after Unicron's defeat. Ratchet grimly outlines the situation and speculates that Optimus has reverted to Orion Pax, his pre-prime self. Try saying that 5 times fast.
Pre-prime.
This episode, I knew that they had, big plans, big story plans, obviously with the way that One Shall Rise ended, but this one was damn good, because you've got Orion. I can't call him Optimus yet, because he's not Optimus right now. You got Orion getting his Decepticon insignia. You've got Megatron weaving all kinds of webs of lies in his head.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God. This episode was so awesome.
It was very twisted.
Yes, it was. You've got the... basically, the only way for Orion to be Optimus again is if they find Vector Sigma on Cybertron.
And reboot his system.
Yep. And June is like, there's no way you're going to Cybertron, to Jack. And, I'm just really loving, the overall human stuff that is happening with this series. Starscream finally shows back up at the end, and it was just so awesome. He's like, Optimus Prime? I know that's not I'm not trying to do a Starscream.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah. But it's just... It's just so awesome. I think my favorite moment overall, though, was when the Autobots were trying to stop the Decepticons, and RC basically drives through the Decepticon ground bridge to get on the ship. And she's driving the Nemesis is, I know on the outside it's huge, but on the inside it is way more. It's kind of like one of those houses where you see, say you see a 5-bedroom house, but it looks like a 2-bedroom house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From the front. And that's the way that this Nemesis is, because I know they did this intentionally because they needed a lot of room to play around in there with the Eraticons and the other Decepticons and everything else. And it was just so hilarious to see her drive through the base, or through the ship, and then obviously Soundwave bridged her out to the Arctic.
Right in front of him, though.
I know it, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was so fucking awesome. Oh, man.
That was just a badass way of starting out the new episode. And then you have Ratchet.
Ratchet.
I had Rat Trap on the brain, but anyways, Ratchet just stressing out over the whole situation, like, geez, I gotta get my leader back because I really don't like making decisions. And then they're just having problems, with trying to get the bridge ready and, whatnot, trying to get the whole situation under control. We need the boss monkey back. But yeah, it's just this first episode definitely geared you up towards what's to come.
Oh yeah, I mean, sometimes certain seasons will, certain cartoons and TV shows as well, sometimes they have a cliffhanger at the end of one season and then they don't really pick it up very well going into the next season. And this show is by far that kind of show. It picks right up with the same story. It picks up where it left off, and it just kicks your ass all over the place. Going into Orion Pax Part 2. On the Nemesis, Starscream points his missiles at Orion Pax and accidentally addressing him as Optimus Prime. The former Seeker realizes something is wrong, though a brief conversation, Starscream learns of Megatron's deception to Orion and states, that the archivist has much to learn. He begins to speak, but is interrupted by a team of Viacons. Starscream leaps into action and makes a quick escape, and Pax is ordered to stay in his quarters, his curiosity piqued. This episode, oh man. This show just keeps getting more awesome and more awesome and more awesome.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. I just it's so hard to describe a good episode.
Yeah.
I haven't been this pleased with a show since the Beast era.
Yeah.
And I'm loving the webs that are being intertwined and everything. Starscream planting the bug in Orion Pax's mind, as he addressed him as Optimus Prime again, and Megatron saying Orion asks too many questions, and having Prime figure out basically he is Optimus Prime, and Starscream, of course, manipulating his way to get help because he got shot out of the sky.
Yeah.
And then you see these creepy ass like vermin transformer things on Cybertron, and then that's how it like scratches the screen and it's gone. It's almost like a Savage Noble type, except this is far creepier just based on the fact that it's dark and it's just clawing its way like some kind of a zombie gremlin.
Yeah. They've had two creepy moments in this cartoon so far. The first one was when that machine thing got infected with Dark Energon in Season 1 and it jumped into the screen because it attacked Ratchet. Remember when they first encountered Dark Energon in Season 1?
Yes.
And this is another one of those creepy scenes because RC says, be very, very careful. And Jack's like, what, Decepticons? No, vermin. And it was so freaking creepy. And I love just the partnership between Jack and RC. We all know, and some of us like Transformers 1 with Shia LaBeouf. And that story was a boy in his car. If anything, one of the underlying stories in Prime is a boy in his bike. Because I love the relationship that the two of them have, and I love how RC and her voice actress, Sue Montano, there we go. That's right. I love how they interact with each other because she specifically says with very, very sad voice, this is not how I wanted you to see my home. Because Cybertron, as we know, is just decimated from war. And Jack's all like super excited. He's like pulling a Mika, like, oh my god, I love, this is great. I'm on another planet, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't know. I'm really loving this series. This series at this point can do no wrong. And Optibotimus and I got into an argument over on TBVH about live action writing versus cartoon writing. And yes, there's only so much you can do in live action. But at least with this, you don't have Michael Bay looking over your shoulder.
I do have to agree with both of you on those points, though, after having listened to it. And for those that want to know more, see Team Botimus Variety Hour Episode 11.
Yep.
It's about, like, after the 30-minute mark somewhere. But,
yeah.
I do have to give Bay props on the fact that he did bring it to a live-action format.
Right.
And get it out there. However, the story sucks. The third movie's decent, the second movie sucks, and the first movie's good. Although there's a lot of bathroom humor. Bumblebee pissing on somebody. Yeah. On Simmons, you have Wheelie raping Megan Fox, and then you have the dog scene of them raping each other.
Yeah.
And then the third film, it's just they're too busy for the three of them. So I mean, they're good for what they are, as just a mindless action movie, but they suck in terms of Transformers mythos.
Well, and Paul's point was basically, he kept trying to get this point across to me. A 2-hour movie versus, or 2.5, 3-hour movie versus, double that in what you can do in a cartoon series. And I understand that, but
it's still no excuse. They could have wrote something a lot better than what came out.
I mean, even if you took Darkness Rising 5-parter and made a movie out of that, it would have been 10 times better than Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh, hell yeah, it would have. I mean, there's still plenty of...
everybody agrees. I mean, even Michael Bay said it, Revenge of the Fallen sucked. Okay, great. Move on. And as we said in that other episode, I can give Bay props for bringing Transformers to the mainstream. And Paul's point was like, well, you do know it's the same guys that wrote the first movie, right? I was like, yeah, but they're doing a hell of a lot better job. So, I don't know. I just absolutely love where this series is going because you don't know where it's going to go. I know we've got these episode titles with the Orion Pax 3-parter and then the Operation Bumblebee 2-parter. Past that, you just, past with these 2 episodes and whatever is going to happen this coming week in the third part of Orion Pax, we kind of know what's going to happen in Operation Bumblebee, but at the same time we don't. And it's very exciting. I have not been this excited for a Transformers cartoon. I hate to say this, but it's because, and I'm going, not really nostalgia, but I'm going to the fact that of a cartoon I watched consistently. Because, as I've said before, when I was 16, I thought Reboot was the new Beast Wars. And I know it's not. I know it's not, but I'm just saying, I did not actively watch Beast Wars when it was on TV. As far as a cartoon, I have not been excited for a Transformers cartoon on television since G1. I have not been this excited. I must watch this every week. And it's when is Saturday going to get here?
I'm kind of like that. For me, it was Beast Wars that was the one I had to watch. So, I mean, this definitely holds that standard. But there are a few things that I have to mention about this episode, despite the fact that in a couple years we're going to do the prime time. But the scene with Fowler in this one, where they took out the spray spidge operator, and then Ratchet and Bulkhead are like, we can't answer it, and then Fowler's like, somebody say something, and then
I know
Ratchet's like, patch him in, and then he says, you have 1 nanosecond to respond or, break down saying this. And Fowler's like, this is a space bridge control. Situation normal. Normal? You sure about that? We were just calibrating the subsystems and we had a surge, but it's fine now. How are you? Never better. I know it's thankless down there. Keep up the good work. Will do. Control out. I mean, it was just hilarious how that whole scene went. I just started laughing. I'm like, wow, he just kind of threw off his game there.
Okay, I know Optimus Solo, if he does listen to this episode of ATTF, he's going to, berate me for making this comparison. That whole exchange, Fowler is Han Solo, damn it.
Well, and they make that reference in the wiki. It says the scene of Fowler talking to Breakdown is a reference to a similar scene in Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. However, this time the guy on the other end responds more warmly to the how are you bit.
Yeah.
So it was a nice nod. I got the reference, and I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was kind of cool was this is the second time Megatron denounces a mistake relating to Starscream and that he does not intend to make this again.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Very, very awesome.
I think that about does it on the Transformers Prime bit.
Yeah.
A couple of little housekeeping things as far as Transformers is related, or at least this podcast. For those wondering, I will have this also syndicated over at Predacon Empire, which is the subsite of Geekcast Radio. This will also be, in addition to that, I'm trying to come up with a new way of, because I want to get a .com or .net or something. I'm tempted to get PredaconEmpire.net just so that I can get something. Because unfortunately, after losing the domain name, I tried every day to re-register the bastard. However, a spam site happened to buy it before I could get it.
Oh.
I don't know how they managed to get their paws on it, unless they paid the $120 and snagged it out from under me.
Yeah.
To get it out of the redemption somehow. But, yeah, Yeah, so I lost the domain. Chances are I won't get it back till next year.
Yeah.
So if I may or may not get a domain name, so if not, it'll just stay as subdomain of Geekcast Radio.
I mean, a subdomain for now is fine. I mean, if you wanted to do a whole new,
otherwise I'd have to rebrand the site with a new title.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to do that, I was thinking about it, and it's like the only thing I can really think of that we could market is thetransformersempire.com. That way, it's not just Predacons, it's not just Beast related, it's every part of the Transformers mythos.
Yeah, and it's...
it's up to you. I mean, having it a subsite of GCRN is fine. It's, that way it's still accessible. It's, people can still go to it, but whatever works.
I might even do it like the Cybertronian Empire. Wouldn't that be kick-ass?
Yeah. Yes, it would.
But, yes, so that's the dilemma. If anybody has any good ideas, send them to Steve at geekcastradio.com. Also, in addition to that little bit, I've been planning to update. I also have the latest Transformers Prime episode up there. People wanting Dark Glass information about the fan production, that is also on there. We feature Team Bottomus toy reviews on the site.
Yep, good old Optibotamus.
Good old Optibotamus. our partner in crime there that also hangs out at Geekcast Radio.
Yeah.
He pimps out Predacon Empire, and I pimp out Team Bottomus because, let's face it, he's quite honestly the only YouTube reviewer I watch. Just putting it out there. And I'm not just saying that just for the hell of it. I have actually watched some of his videos. I have nothing against anybody else. I do like Piag and Bolt Matrix and whatnot, but I just watched a lot more of Team Bottomus. I think it's because it's the white background thing, and I just liked his approach. But in any case, so that's there. That site will continuously get updated. I will be adding news and adding all the original elements, which, pretty much any Transformers content from Geekcast Radio will also get re-syndicated over at Predacon Empire, just for those that want a Transformers hub.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how well that goes in the future depends on whether certain other podcasts that are a part of a franchise get their own subsite. I like the DC or whatnot, so I don't.
Oh, okay.
So I may do something similar to that in the future. It just depends on how well that Predacon Empire blows over. So, I'm also looking for a new host. Anybody that has suggestions, I'm open to suggestions. I've had HostGator suggested to me, Bluehost.
Okay, hold on. You need to clarify for people, because when you say new host, the first thing I think of is podcast host, but I know you're talking about web hosts.
Yes, I'm talking about web hosts because, and yes, thank you for clarifying. I don't need an influx of hosts.
Yeah.
Wanting for podcasts. I'm directly looking for a new website host because I use Media Temple, and while it's been a great relationship with them over the last few years. With the growing demand of Geekcast Radio, Predacon Empire, they no longer are viable, you could say. I used to use iPower Web back in the day, and Predacon Empire used to lag like no other and have issues consistently, and I switched to Media Temple, and I have had them since I think 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And while it's been a great 6 years, now they've come to the point where the site constantly lags. I can be in the middle of an update, and I have to start all over because there's an issue with the server.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the bandwidth and the gigabyte hosting, I'm pretty much using I'm using 2/3 of the bandwidth every month.
Oh, wow.
At this point.
Is that because we have so much content?
It is.
Yeah.
And the gigabytes of hosted, I'm almost at half capacity.
Wow. What about something like DreamHost where it's unlimited?
Well, that's what I'm kind of bringing up. DreamHost is another one on my list. HostGator, DreamHost, Bluehost, FusionHost, those all are under $6 a month plans, which my Media Temple is $20 a month.
Yeah.
The difference is all of these 4 hosts listed or named have unlimited domain hosting, so you can have as many domains as you want, unlimited gigabyte hosting space, unlimited transfer space, which is the bandwidth, and the free domains and all that. They all have pretty much the same perks between the 4 of them. So I'm mostly looking, so if anybody has any suggestions between the 4, I'm just kind of trying to gauge which ones are better and which ones will quite possibly move the site for me.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to have to recreate it. If they'll transfer the site for me, that's also another. And I want to know if they have a very high rate of keeping their sites up and keeping the speed with the databases, because that is something I've run into over the course of this. Every time I've contacted Media Temple, I've had issues.
Yeah.
And it's been consistent for the last 2 months, and I can't deal with that anymore. If I'm paying $20 a month, I expect to not have an issue.
Yeah, exactly.
And I might as well pay $6 a month, get unlimited bandwidth, get unlimited space, and be able to host the site, not worry about going over on either, and have more uptime. So if anybody has suggestions, please send that to steve@geekcastradio.com or my Twitter at SCP21. That would be very appreciative on my end. And I, of course, want to keep everything running smoothly, which I'll also bring this up in another podcast of some kind in the future. But I just wanted to put that out there for anybody listening. So jumping back into the last bit of Transformers, what are you looking forward to in the near future?
Prime. It's all about Prime.
It's all about Prime.
That's right.
Optimus Prime. On Prime Time.
Yeah. That's really what's interesting to me at this point. Now, I hope this comes to iTunes. I don't think it will. But I mentioned last time we did an episode about the Transformers Prime soundtrack for Season 1. On Amazon, under MP3 download, it lists it as coming out March 6th. And the actual physical CD copy comes out March 13th. The original release date for the CD was March 20th. I'm hoping iTunes gets it, because it would be so great, or I could just get it in iTunes and not have to worry about buying a physical CD copy of it. I've tried downloading stuff. I've bought stuff from Amazon MP3 before, but honestly, it's not, at least when I did at the time before they upgraded whatever they upgraded, it wasn't like the best, like compared to iTunes quality, it kind of sucked. So I'm hoping that either I can get the actual CD or I can just buy it in iTunes, but it has yet to be listed in iTunes as a pre-order, so I'm looking forward to that. That's pretty much it as far as Transformers goes.
I have to agree, and of course, I'm not stating anything about that shitty Transformers 4 information, so...
No, we are not covering Transformers 4. It's 2 fucking years away. We're not covering it. It's not going to be fucking covered. We, go over to, what is it, Headshot 41? Yeah, Headshot 41. We pretty much gave all of our thoughts on it there.
Yes. So deal with it. Booyah. But anyways, so that pretty much does it for this episode. So, if you'd like to leave feedback on the show, there are many ways to do so. First, you can visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can comment on the episode and all of our different podcasts. Second, you can rate our show on iTunes. Be sure to leave us feedback. Call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. Please remember to tell us the show you were leaving the message for and your name. Become a fan of us on Facebook by searching Geekcast Radio Network. Follow us on Twitter at Predacon Empire. You can also ask Megatron, and that's Beast Wars Megatron, at BW_Megatron. My Twitter name is at SCP21. What is your Twitter name?
TFG and Mike.
Join us next time when we discuss more Transformers-related news that is actually pertinent, as well as Transformers Prime Season 2 episodes. So, for now, I'm Steve Megatron Phillips with...
TFG and Mike.
Saying thank you for listening. Until next time.
Yes.